Hello everybody, welcome back to ASR, African Stories Realized. I'm not gonna waste too much time with unnecessary details. Let's jump into season 2 of The Wife, episode 4 to 6. Hit the like and sub, let's get it. Episode 4 opens with high stakes. It appears the Zandile decoy has traded her freedom for a life-saving surgery for her son that NKOSANA promised to pay for. Zandile is starting to settle in fine, but it is awkward without NKOSANA being there, and it's awkward for the kids, especially because they still don't recognize her as their mother. Zaza catches up with one of the younger brothers and refers to MAHLOMU as the family favorite. We cut to the hospital where Hlomu's just chilling, waiting for tests to get run. The doctors are running tests on her. QAWE is there with him and he reports to her that Mgele has been arrested. So that's when they cut to the police station where the commissioner is interrogating the Zulu brothers, who are cool under pressure. I mean, these guys were just chilling. And eventually the commissioner actually gave them more information than they gave them, because then they realized that he doesn't have anything on them. There's no evidence. So anyway, the commissioner detains the Zulu brothers. And makes them spend a night in prison. At the taxi rank, the Majola brothers are up to no good again as they attempt to overthrow NKOSANA as the head of the association. But the association members stand behind NKOSANA and his brothers. We cut back to the prison where the arrested Zulu brothers are in there contemplating their next move. NKOSANA is the most restless because his wife just came back and he knows the situation at home, and of course he owes a debt to Zandile's decoy. If he doesn't pay for the operation in time, her son won't make it and it'll make the deal even worse. That's why I thought high stakes at the beginning. I was thinking, whoa, because I know the wife, we all know the wife is thick with the drama. So I really thought they were gonna make it such that once the boys got released, it would have been too late for the operation, and which would have been heartbreaking, and NKOSANA would have really been in trouble. Also, when it comes to spending a night in jail, I remember NKOSANA in season 1, he said the Zulu brothers don't spend the night in jail. Back at the prison, Zandile's cellmate returns from solitary confinement and doesn't recognize her. Zaza's decoy insists Zandile's cellmate returns from solitary confinement and doesn't recognize her. Zaza's decoy insists but her cellmate is not having it. She doesn't believe her. So back at the hospital, Langa confronts QAWE, who insists that he doesn't care if Mgele finds out what happened between him and MAHLOMU, because he wants to be with MAHLOMU. He can treat her better. Basically what he believes, that brother stole MAHLOMU from him, which is kind of true. Now at the police station, the Zulu brothers' lawyer arrives, but he is denied access to them. Cops told them that they're not even being held there. So they sent the lawyer away, and the Zulu brothers don't know this. They're still in jail. At this point, it's their second night in jail. Moving on, Mandisa and Zaza are gossiping about Hlomu. Basically, Mandisa claims that Hlomu bullies the whole family into doing what she wants. I don't think she really bullies them. No, they just try to appease her more, but mainly because Mgele is the one who keeps messing up. So they have to make up for where she's lacking, to be honest. And, Mandisa's crazy. I gotta say, Mandisa's wild. Gossiping with Zandile when she's the reason that the money that was supposed to get her out was burnt. They could have bought her freedom and she would have been roaming the streets as Zandile, but now she needs a fake identity. So that's all Mandisa's fault. So I don't know why she's so relaxed. Back to the prison. Zaza's decoy is getting desperate in jail, and she's afraid that NKOSANA has abandoned her in jail without paying what he promised. I gotta say, whoever was editing this episode, there was a lot of cuts, like from the prison to the police station to the hospital to the house. There was a lot of scenes that they had to cover, but it transitioned very smoothly. Moving on, Langa tries to talk to MAHLOMU about her relationship with Mgele, but she wants to stay with him. Langa tries to talk to MAHLOMU about her relationship with Mgele, but she insists that she wants to stay with Mgele and that she is his queen. It's gonna get interesting. The storyline is getting interesting. I like that they're introducing Zandile's story, but they still keep MAHLOMU's story going. So again, big ups. Back to the police station, the commissioner informed the Zulu brothers that they would spend another night in jail as he continues to hold them without cause. The Zulu brothers are pissed. I've never seen NKOSANA look so helpless on the show. Now back to the hospital. Episode 1 ends with a big reveal that MAHLOMU is pregnant. But who is the father? Episode 2 opens up with the Zulu brothers. Episode 2 opens up with the Zulu brothers losing it in jail. They're getting angry, they're uncomfortable, they're used to living pretty posh. They were used to living in luxury, so right now they are not happy. And they're not happy that all the hush money, all the bribe money that they've been handing out to cops and detectives is not paying out, because they have a dirty detective on their payroll, but he's not doing his job. Moving on. They were able to get a phone from one of the other police officers who are on their payroll, and NKOSANA was able to call QAWE. NKOSANA demanded that QAWE finds their lawyer and comes to get them out of jail immediately. While at the hospital, QAWE shows no urgency to go release his brothers as he confronts MAHLOMU about the pregnancy. MAHLOMU insists Mcele is the father. MAHLOMU insists Mcele is the father of the baby, and she doesn't want to be with QAWE. Back at the jail, the Zulu brothers berate Ngobe, the detective under their payroll, for being on leave when they got arrested. Cause at the least he could have given them a heads up, but he did let them know that there's nothing he can do. He's tried everything and he's exhausted all his resources. Moving on, back at the women's prison, Zaza's decoy keeps trying to reach NKOSANA, and the real Zaza answers, but immediately Zaza hangs up. Same time, her cellmate catches her using the cell phone and confronts her about where Zaza is. The commissioner tries to convince the Zulu brothers to flip on each other. by offering Ngoba immunity. Back at the police station, the Zulu brothers' lawyer finally returns and he demands to see their client. Ngobe, the dirty detective who works for the Zulu brothers, helps him gain access and interrupts the commissioner's interrogation. This was, I think, my favorite scene of the day, because the commissioner was holding them without cause. He had no evidence. There was absolutely nothing he could do. The Zulu brothers' lawyer dressed him down good. Now back at the jail, Zaza's cellmate is relentless in finding out who she really is. To her credit, Zaza's decoy stayed strong and said nothing. I don't know why her cellmate is so relentless. I guess they know each other. And also I should mention that when she called and Zandile, the real Zandile, answered, she did say a name. The name was NOMUSO. So if anybody, that name means anything to y'all, please comment down below who's NOMUSO. Is she in the book? And what part does she play? Right now I'm just gonna go with the theory that she's Mcele's long lost baby mama. That's what I'm gonna go with. Cause Zandile definitely knows who she is. I don't know why NKOSANA got somebody they know. I think it would have been easier to get somebody they don't know who needed similar help. Back at the hospital, Langa questions Hlomu, who is the father of the unborn baby. She insists that Cele is the father and actually says that she's considering an abortion. She claims that it's because she's still grieving from the loss of her last baby, but I think it's because she doesn't know who the father is. Which is crazy because Langa also knows about Sandile. She asked, could Sandile also be the father? But they did use protection. Next, the brothers arrive home after their release. Meanwhile, the Majola brothers are up to no good and appear to be causing unrest with the association by allowing new taxis from outside onto the routes for their association. So now it's causing saturation, people aren't bringing back enough money and so forth. But it was also hurting their pockets. Episode 2 closed with MAHLOMU returning home, and there was some huge tension. She came with QAWE accompanying her. One thing you need to realize is QAWE did not leave her side the entire time she was at hospital. Even when NKOSANA told him, come and get us with the lawyer, he sent the lawyer, but he didn't go with the lawyer. So yeah, that's something I think that'll pop up later, and that the other characters are starting to notice about QAWE. It's starting to raise red flags, especially I think with Zandile, because she was eyeballing MAHLOMU. There was huge tension between MAHLOMU and Zandile, and QAWE actually increased the suspicion by excusing himself from a family meal. So it's gonna be interesting how this unfolds. Anyway, episode 3 opens up with MAHLOMU suffering from morning sickness. Mcele demands to know what's wrong, but she doesn't tell him about the pregnancy. Instead, she distracts him by setting up an ice cream date, which she'll later regret. Back at the taxi rank, the Majola brothers have forced a vote Back at the taxi rank, the Majola brothers have forced a vote as they attempt to put the younger Majola brother in the chairman's seat of the association. But just as they were about to make him the chairman, the Zulu brothers arrive. NKOSANA insists to the taxi owners that he can still lead them, but while he handles his business and his personal problems, he will choose one of his brothers to hold his seat. The Zulu brothers each make a case for themselves. QAWE tried to make a case for himself, but Ngoba brought up the fact that he's unreliable and he's never there when they need him. Firstly with ZAZA'S escape, and then when they were in jail. NKOSANA agreed with Ngoba and actually ended up selecting Ngoba to hold his seat. The disbelief on the older Majola brothers' face when the association members agreed was hilarious. It was just pure disbelief. Next up, we're at the family house and we get the first scene of Zandile speaking to herself like subconsciously. Something that MAHLOMU did quite a lot last season. It confirms that she does know who NOMUSO is. So I think she is Ngela's baby mother like I'm theorizing. That's my theory of the week. Also, I have to say Ngoba and NKOSANA have really gotten close. And in a way, all the brothers have been competing for NKOSANA's approval and the position of his right-hand man. Next up, Zaza and NKOSANA spend some family time with the boys, and she lets him know that she wants them to move closer from the boarding school that they're at now. She wants them to be closer to her. Just as they're having the little family time, NKOSANA gets called up to the prison by the fake Zaza, who we will now call NOMUSO. When NKOSANA gets to the jail, he tried to apologize and explain that he was unavailable for 3 days and he'll follow through with his promise to pay for NOMUSO's son's operation and take care of her mother and take care of her family. Despite the apology, NOMUSO insists that she wants out of the deal. Her cellmate is terrorizing her, so that's why it seems like she's cracking, but she knows that for her son to survive, she needs this. But I do believe that this is Ngela's ex. Now finally, episode 3 ends with Hlomu repeating the same mistakes. Buntle tried to call her, most probably to tell her that her husband was looking for her, because they had set up an ice cream date, and then she just left work. And then she just got up and left to go drink with Langa. So while she's with Langa, Zulu's trying to reach her. That's why I say she's repeating her past mistakes. Anyway, Hlomu wakes up while she's with Langa at the flat, and she finds the missed calls from Zulu, which means, yeah, she is in trouble. So she rushes home immediately because she knows she messed up. I don't even know if she remembers about the ice cream date, but she really messed up by setting up a date and not fulfilling it, because I'm assuming he went to work to pick her up. She wasn't there. So anyway, as soon as she arrives, Taylor was ready to beat her down like we've seen him do so many times before. But MAHLOMU confessed that she was pregnant to save herself and the baby. Up until that point, I don't think she was sure she was going to keep it. But she knew what was going to happen if he beat her up again. And this time he was ready to kill her. He had a weapon and he was ready to use it on her. So now she has to keep it and she's going to try pass it off as Ngela's. I don't know, maybe if she's lucky, maybe down the line they'll do a DNA test after the baby's born. But wow, yeah, the drama's real. It's a telenovela. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. What y'all think about my theory about NOMUSO being Ngela's ex and the kid who needs the surgery, that's Ngela's son? This is African Stories Realized for the love of African filmmaking and storytelling.